All right, everybody, we're going to get started here in just a minute.
They say that we got to get started. Let's rock and roll. Aren't you so interested in hearing all the other things I have to say? It's riveting, right? Like, very exciting. During the break, oh, sorry, folks. I checked a couple of grants, and one of the utility districts that is a partner, one of the utility districts that is a partner on a county grant was like, man, where's our reimbursement? Why haven't you given us money yet? And I said, well, I don't know. Let's check it out. And we checked it out, and what happened? Who was it? Who raise your hand? Who was the folks that we just looked at and you said you guys didn't get? They're too shy. They're right there. Yeah. What was the problem? Sounds like the grant administrator hadn't submitted the invoices yet. I don't even know what it is, right? They said, I've got a $1.3 million invoice capital purchase. The contractor's done with the project. He wants his money. I said, well, I can't pay you if you haven't submitted it. And it's not, he doesn't have control. She doesn't have control. The county is the grantee and the grant administrator is the one that submits it. So they're going to have a conversation, right? So this is like the prime example, the perfect example of needing to make sure you have open communication with the folks that hold that grant and know that the expectations for getting that money are met. No, the gentleman over here raised his hand and said, what's the average time for those disbursements? Review process. I said, I don't know, but I'll check during the break. 6.6 days is what EY takes. 6.6 days, their average. Add another 6 onto that for my team to go, yeah, they did their work. For fiscal to go, yeah, they did their work. And for big F&A to go, send them a check. So, on average, but It has to be a complete invoice. These folks right here who said their capital purchase wasn't submitted, there are invoices in that county that have been submitted, and they have an RFI, request for additional information, because there weren't any dates on the invoice. There was no period of performance on the invoice. The invoice didn't have proper signatures. I can't help you get your money in 15 or 30 days or even 45 days if you don't have those invoices properly signed, period of performance on there, and your numbers don't add up. You got to have that, right? You got to have that. I intentionally, I'm going to put resources and requests. I figured all that milestone stuff, you guys wouldn't even hear me when I say resources, right? I went to a meeting in Monteagle with the mayor, with the senator, with the commissioner's chief of staff, and grant administrator, and the mayor said, why? Why this? Why that? Why? I said, well, we have all these resources. And they're like, have you told us about the resources? I said, well, your grant administrator's been at every town hall. I know, because I take a list of attendance. It pops up. It's all automated. I don't even have to do anything. The computer tells me, here's your attendees. Those grant administrators have a lot of projects too. I spoke to one who said, I've got 86 other grants. I don't know which one you're talking about. I'm like, 86? You've got a heavy workload. So it's not anything malicious that is happening. It's just a lot of work, right? A lot of work. As a grant administrators and individual leaders undergo transition, blah, 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 this ensures that communications are directed to the appropriate contacts. If you don't have information to us about who you are and how you're participating in this, get that in here. We need to know who you are so you get informed. You get the emails, you get the announcements. We have tons. I spent an enormous amount of hours, enormous implementation guide. It's a pretty nice guide. It tells you everything you need to know. And if it isn't in there, we talk about it. I go, yeah, that should be in there. We'll make version number 72. Put that in there. Tell everybody we updated it, because Bill called me and said, you didn't have this in there. We need that. Good idea. The grant management system user guide, it's Pictionary. We show you with snapshots what button to push, where to push it. Recording, right, of demonstrations. We have way more resources. We have resources that outline all of the contract conditions you need to have in your contracts with your vendors by vendor type. Is it a lump sum contract? It is a construction lump sum? Is it an RFQ engineering services? What are the contract conditions? All you have to do is copy and paste them into your contract. This on the ARP website, hyperlink, it gives you a table of what, who, how. Download those, put them in your contract, you're good to go. Deliverables. We've just updated this. Information on the deliverables and requirement for each project type. PER. Oh, how many in here know what a PER is? A preliminary engineering report. Oh, thank God you don't know. Gracious, this has been. And for the love of Pete, we really wanted to do a good job making sure everybody had a preliminary engineering report. And then we got a little over our skis from the regulatory side of the house and Division of Water. And we have refined and pulled back. So we've lightened this, we've loosened it up. So that's been updated. Reimbursement. This is a guide. This is a reimbursement checklist. If you just do everything we tell you to do and you replicate it every time, you will never have a problem. You won't have a problem. They'll be like, oh my gosh, Billy's sending in another invoice. This is for $10 million. He's checked all the boxes again. Great. 6 days, 10 days, right? Site inspections. We have contracted with a different entity, Civil and Environmental Consultants, CEC, because I like them better. an EY for boots on the ground because they are folks that live in Tennessee, folks that do Tennessee projects, folks that know y'all. And so they will be doing the site inspections. If you're lucky, not if you're lucky, if I'm lucky, I'll get to do some site inspections too. I'll get out of the office. I hate sitting in front of the computer all the time. We have grant manuals. We have grant manuals. We have resource upon resource. Your asset management plan minimum requirements checklist, check this out, right? We have sent back AMPs already, asset management plans already, because they didn't meet the minimum requirements of the checklist. I'm not making anything a mystery. I am all about 100% transparency, right? I want to tell you what you need to do in order to get an A++ from us. Just do the things on the checklist. We're good. Good. We also have lots of FAQs, right? What are the most major common problems? What are they? What are they? We also have recordings, right? Recordings for implementation, presentations, proper procurement, the town halls. We just had a town hall on Tuesday. We have monthly town halls where over 100 people attend all the time. So if you don't know about these, you need to get with those popular kids and tell them you want to make sure that you're invited too. The next the next town hall is going to be in November, and all these resources. This is what the splash page looks like, right? And I go to this every single day. And basically, I just Google TDEC ARP and it takes me right to the site. It's right there. Lots of demonstrations and tutorials. Okay, that's all ARP. We'll be so happy when ARP is over. Like, so happy, so happy. It's a lot of work. But we also have, crazy enough, Water Infrastructure Funding Assistance Program, right? We just talked all about this. I also manage the State Revolving Fund Loan Program and the State Water Infrastructure Grants Program. This is $1.35 billion. Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, IIJA, Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The last bipartisan thing Congress did, which I don't even know how long ago it was, must have been in 2022, 2021, infused a lot of money into SRF so that over the next 5 years, well, from 2022 to 2026, guess what? These programs are going to have $1.3 billion. I was like, oh gosh, I can't believe it. But we have, 5 years to obligate funds, which means it's a little more relaxed. Has anybody ever participated in the state revolving fund, the SRF program? 1, 2, 3. How many love the SRF program? How many says, oh, you're so sweet? How many said, that's an awesome program, right? Come on. Yeah, we suck. We suck. It's okay, right? It's okay. What I mean, and I mean that in the most honest and loving way. 24 months to get a loan is not cool. It's not cool. It is not cool. I am in the middle of transitioning. We're migrating. I have put my foot down. I said, no, we're not doing it as paper anymore because Sally doesn't like to talk to Freddie. And if Sally doesn't talk to Freddie, then loans never get made. We've had like 80% of our technical staff retire. They were with the program for 30 plus years, they all retired. I've had a hard time hiring engineers, but ARP, for all of its sucking, there's also some really good things about it, right? Like, we just went on the computer right now and we said, what's your project? Where's your project? Okay, I know where your project is. I know that your procurement's approved. I can tell you what kind of progress you're making, and I know whose next step responsibility it is. So if you've recently applied for SRF, you went to the grant management system. Every single time now you want money from SRF or SWIG, you're going to go through the grant management system. I'm taking everything that we built in ARP. I'm going to trim it down, make it as small as I can get away with, and we're going to use it for SRF. So we have complete transparency. We won't have any lost documents. We won't have any, I don't know what phase of the process I'm in. So hopefully by January, we'll release phase 2 and phase 3. So if you've recently gotten on the PRL, you recently got on the PRL, right? Yeah, I think so. You'll get a notification, and it won't be a letter that we actually send and sign like ink and all that. It'll be an automatically generated letter from the GMS that says you have 30 days to click a button. All right, we'll give you 30 days to click a button. You can do it in the phase 2 will be 2 hours out of your life max. So my goal is to get planning and design loans down to 6 months and loans with construction down to 12 months. Now, I just told you we're at 24 months right now, right? And I think it's been like that for a little while. So I don't think I'll be there overnight, but I do think in 2025 we'll start to see those timelines come down quite dramatically. And this is why. Traditional drinking water project funding I have available right now is 134 million. Lead service line replacement dollars, 138 million. Emerging contaminants, including PFAS, 25 million. Loan forgiveness for traditional projects, I have basically about 40 million. So if you come to me to get to some of this and you qualify for some of this, I'm going to give you as much as that as I possibly can. They don't give me brownie points or gold stars for having big balances. Actually, they say, you suck for having so much money because that money's not supposed to be sitting in the bank. No, it's supposed to be out to you guys. My job is to get the money out to you. So when I have these big balances, they're saying, you're a loser, Vena. Get your butt on it. Get that money out the door. Loan forgiveness on lead service line funding, 70 million. I recently was looking at the lead service line inventories that everybody submitted. And I was recently looking at national data that said the state of Tennessee is 7th in the nation for lead service lines, for lead lines or lines, what is it, galvanized lines downstream of a previously lead line. 7th in the nation. 4.2% of our lines are supposedly in those two categories. That's not the data that we turned in with the inventories. Now, I don't know if it's because we have a lot of unknowns, but if I don't consume this money, if I don't obligate or get really close to obligating this money by May of 2025, the next round of money that evaporates by May of 2025 is gone. We don't get it. So SRF gets our money from EPA, who gets their money from Congress. Congress has told us already, Tennessee, you have 85 million you can get of federal fiscal year 24 funds. But that money goes away in May 1st of 2025. If you don't apply for that 85 million, it goes away. We never get it back. We have 5 tranches. This amount represents 2 tranches. That 85 million represents the 3rd tranche. If I can't use that money and I give back the 85 million, those last 2 tranches, maybe 10 million a piece, maybe nothing. So I'm concerned. I am super, super concerned because I don't want your kids or your grandkids or your dog drinking from lead lines, right? Because we know it's an issue. I'm also cool with if we don't got the lines, then we give the federal government the money back because we can't use the only thing we can use it for is lead. Well, let's get the lead out. Right? Let's go. I'm so funny. Next week, we are opening up the grant management system for lead service line replacement loans. These are replacement of service lines all the way up to the house, right? From the meter to the house, it's private property. There are problems. Don Scholes, I don't want, like for utilities working on private property. We can figure it out. We can figure it out. You can get a third-party contractor, and they can be the one responsible for doing all of that, or however it works. But if you have lead in your system or you think you do, let's get through. I look 0.05. I've told them like 10 times. That is 0.5%. That math is too complicated. If it's a that math's too 0.5%. What are interest rates today on loans? Six, right? 5, 6. Traditional SRF loan, probably 2 to 3%. 0.5%. That's 0.5% for anybody. For anybody. You don't have to be small. You don't have to be disadvantaged. I don't care. Right? I'm not in it. I don't make money off of this. Right? This doesn't even cover the costs that we experience for our FTEs. I just want to make it as what's it called? Like as interesting, as tangible, as like advantageous, financially beneficial as possible. In fact, I'm like paying you, right? You get to keep that money and it's like far below the rate of inflation, far, far below. Practically free. That money's practically free. Did you say ESCUD? It's practically free, ESCUD. I'm telling you. And you guys would get this too. Look at that. You guys will get that too right there. I want to be able to apply for that 85 million. I don't want to lose a single dollar if we can use it. Apply. Apply. I'll tell you what. It doesn't even cost you anything to apply. And I don't force you to take a loan if you go, you know what, I don't want it. But at least it lets me tell EPA, look, I've got demand. They don't say I have to have all of that under contract. They just say you have to show us that you have demand in order to get more. Okay. So just apply. Lots of eligibility, right? But this right here, future growth. Let's talk about that for a second. I have a lot of folks go, yeah, we got an industrial park. I know I can get, you can get, hands off. Speculative development is Congress specifically prohibited the use of SRF money, taxpayer money, for speculative development. I can do, but there is room in there, right? I don't want to tell the town of Clifton that their new wastewater, their new drinking water treatment plant has to be built to serve the population that they have today. Well, that would be silly because the life cycle of the plant's 20 or 30 years. Reasonable projected growth. Clifton says, I've got a lot of studies. I've done a study. I've looked at UT studies. I can say that my growth will double over 20 years. Okay, sounds good. Let's right size your plant, right? Because we don't want to inhibit you, but you don't get to say, I want to put a bunch of water lines out there because I know I'm going to get a subdivision to come out there. I know I can get an industry to come if I put water and sewer out there. My cousin owns that land. He needs to sell it. It's worth more. I'll say, no way, Jose. Clean water. Clean water means wastewater or stormwater. 239 million. A lot of money. Emerging contaminants, 6.2. And loan forgiveness on traditional projects, almost 40, or like a little more than 39 million. I want to go back one. Let's see. I want to say emerging contaminants includes PFAS, 25.722 million. I mentioned the town of Clifton. The town of Clifton has been wanting to get a new drinking water treatment plant. Lord, I have been to their drinking water treatment plant. I'm like, yes, you need a new drinking water treatment plant. We pay for, we helped them do plans and specifications. And then they went silent on me for about 12 months. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're doing some things. No, what are you doing? Oh, we're doing some things. I finally get them. What is it? I've heard about East Scud, right? I've heard these stories. I've heard these stories. I use you guys as examples. To do what? Tear them out? Replace them? Mhm. So one thing, if you guys have experienced ARP, there's something called the Tennessee Infrastructure Scorecard. I am really trying to incorporate that into the SRF process. And I really expect folks to focus on critical needs first, right? So with your particular utility, I'd be like, I know you have water loss issues. So, and aside from that area, which I also think is a big water loss issue, let's see if we can address all these other water loss issues first and then talk about, future state. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's talk. Let's talk. Okay. So back to emerging contaminants. And Anthony, this is really for you too, right? So Clifton is like, oh, okay. Why were they silent? Well, they found out that they had PFAS in the Tennessee River. They're like, man, we should be treating for PFAS. We want to change our plans and specifications, but we don't want to tell Vena because she already gave us like $900,000 to do all this. And we got to build a pilot project, which is like a super mini plant, and she'll be cool. She'll be cool. And then because we'll go to construction soon. And I called him up and I was like, do you know you just wasted money that I could have given you for 100% free? No loan. 100% loan forgiveness on this guy. Emerging contaminants. It doesn't matter if you're a rich community or a poor community. I said, Doug Kibbe, I'm gonna get put my foot like OMG. I said, okay, your component, your filters. Yeah, you have to have filters for your drink water treatment plant. Huh? But you picked filter A because it also helps you eliminate PFAS. You have PFAS hits in the river. That part, I'm going to give you 100% for free. So if you would have talked to me earlier, I would have paid for the new plans and specs. I would have paid for the pilot project. I would have paid for, because this money is also sitting poo-poo stinky. I've already had to give some emerging contaminant money back. And I don't know how much PFAS we have. I don't know how much microplastics. I don't know how much, but DBPs, they're eligible too. And so if you have issues, call me up. I love creativity. We can work through how to maximize this money so you get as much for, nothing's ever free, but you know, forgiveness as possible. And every element that has a nexus with emerging contaminants, and you can demonstrate that that asset, that piece, that filter, that whatever, yeah, man, we're using it for emerging contaminants. It does all the other things. I'm going to give that to you for free. All right. Money, money, money. Eligibility. Wastewater, we have a lot more flexibility. You won't see future growth on here. They're a little more flexible than that. But of course, like I just told the gentleman over there, I'm going to look at your scorecard. I'm going to say, well, do you have the technical, managerial, and financial capacity to actually deal with expansion? Because if you don't, no. So the grants. We've got lead service line inventory and planning grants. If you have a lot of unknowns, if you need to do more inventories, if you need to get those unknowns off your inventory, come to us. We'll give you money for it. It'll be great. Stormwater, 1.5 million. AMPs, if you say, dang, they're making us do an asset management plan and we don't have money for it. I want to give away money for that. Small, underserved, and disadvantaged communities. If you're a community like Eastcott, Spencer, Mason, underserved, disadvantaged communities, I'm going to have $800,000 or more every year to really just give away, give away, give away. This is a grant. But Spencer taught me a lesson a long time ago. If y'all don't have match, if y'all don't have skin in the game, you guys don't care about the game. So all these grants come with match. It may be 5%, it may be 10%, but you need to have skin in the game to play the game. Otherwise, you guys don't want to play. You guys go, yeah, I'll take the money, but I won't do what you want me to. So we've already given away 59 contracts for lead service lines. If you don't have one, November 5th, we're opening it up. Come get it. You probably have unknowns, and if you do, this money can help you arrest that. So yes, 8.5 up to 250 in funding, 15 to 25% match. Okay, I said 5, but it's 15. Oh, that's not too bad. Come on down. Emerging contaminant grants or loans, 100% loan forgiveness. Funding can be used for clean water or drinking water to address emerging contaminants like PFAS, microplastics, and pharmaceuticals in clean and drinking water. Stormwater, the details. It's 1.2 million. What? How can we be over? Our time together has been so short. Ah, yeah, that's it. That's it. Questions? No questions? All right. It sounds like you're seeing Ethan next.
Thank y'all for coming. It's raining. Be safe going home. And thanks again. Y'all have a great day.